Good with that? Okay to roll? Let's roll. 29:52. Okay, that's countdown. Good. Friends, India is today, because of Prime Minister's policies, the choices that he made, India has today emerged as a bright spot in a globally, in a global situation which is today considered to be a very difficult situation. Many countries are going through lots of difficulties. Despite all those dark clouds, India has emerged as a very important bright spot in the world. Why that has happened, what is the role of BRICS, what is the role of cliques, is what I'm going to talk about. When the pandemic hit all of us, all the countries had some choices to be made. What are those choices that India made which are different from the choices that other richer countries, more developed countries made? That's the fundamental difference which needs to be known to all of us. Most of the countries followed a policy of consumption. It was a strategy where you print more, increase the size of your balance sheet of the central banks, and put that money in the hands of consumers, consume. Whereas in India, Prime Minister Modi, he followed a strategy where a very focused consumption, free food grain to 800 million people, free vaccine doses, 2.2 billion vaccine doses, some consumption items, but a great focus on investment, a very big focus on public investment. We all know that 1 rupee invested in infrastructure gives us 3.6 rupees worth economic activity in the economy, right? So this change, this difference is what created a situation where India is today having high growth, moderate inflation, compared to global scenario which is having low growth and high inflation. That's a fundamental difference, and that is showing the results. Structurally, India's economy is changing from 27% at its nadir, investment as a part of India's GDP. It has grown to 31%, and this is the public investment program in front of you, friends. From something like 2.5–3 trillion rupees annually, it has now steadily increased from 3 to 3.4 to 4 to 5.5 trillion rupees, 7.5 trillion rupees, and this year's budget, this is 10 trillion rupees. Everywhere we go and talk to the industry people, the factory utilization has increased significantly from a low of 60–65%, it is now 75–80%. It is resulting into huge employment generation. What used to be the formal employment, what used to be just about 600,000 per month, is now 1.5 million per month. That's huge in a country where employment is a very important factor. These are hard numbers, can be checked by anybody, can be verified by anybody. So this is where I would like to shift the gears to what are we doing in railways, what are we doing in telecom, what are we doing in IT and electronics, the three responsibilities that Prime Minister Modi ji has given me. I'll talk about railways first. Massive network, all of us know, one of the largest networks in the world. 8 billion passengers carried every year, 8 billion. Clicker. 22,000 plus trains every day, 22,000 plus trains every day. 7,300 stations. Now, how do you transform a network of this complexity, of this magnitude? We have 1.2 million employees. Imagine my plight when I have to do the annual performance appraisal. How do we transform a network of this size? Where should I point the clicker? Yeah. So the first focus that Prime Minister Modi ji put was change the passenger experience. What is passenger experience? Passenger experience comes from the station stations, comes from the trains, comes from safety, comes from the way ticketing is done, all those things. We started with the station work. Today, we have 3 or 4 stations which gave us the experience of how to develop stations. This is Rani Kamlapati station in Bhopal.